Hello, YouTube, and welcome to the weekly touchdown for April 18th, 2017. We are getting into draft mode, folks. The draft is in 9 days. It starts on April 27th. But before we get into that, and I'm going to kind of tell you what our schedule is going to be for the next week to let you know what's going on. I apologize, I'm a little late with getting this out. I'll be honest, I got sick last week, and I wasn't able to talk over the weekend, so I had to scrunch things down a little bit. But this is kind of what my schedule is going to be, so you know what to expect over the next week. At any point in any of this, if you have any questions, folks, put them down in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them, try to explain anything that you want me to. This is more about an interactive thing. I want to answer your questions for you and stuff, but I love talking about the NFL. So today, I'm going to give you the update, what my schedule is, kind of go over what the draft is so you know what's going on with that. Tomorrow, on Wednesday, the 19th, I'm going to go over the draft needs and the picks for the teams in the AFC North and South. On Thursday, we're going to look at the AFC East and West. What are the teams there? What are their major needs, and what picks do they have in the draft? On Friday, we're going to look at the NFC North and South. Saturday, the NFC East and West. On Sunday, I'm going to give you my mock draft for picks 1 through 10 in the first round. On Monday, we're going to look at picks 11 through 20. On Tuesday, picks 21 through 32. And on Wednesday, the day before the draft, I'm going to talk about any sleepers or any other players I think that people might be interested in, I think is going to happen. Answer any questions. I'll be happy to do that as we go along. But that's kind of what my update schedule is going to be, my upload schedule for the next 9 days to take us into the NFL draft. What is the NFL draft? Well, it is an opportunity for players to be selected by professional teams in the NFL. They own all rights to them if they do draft them. They can't sign with anybody else until they sign with that team, or they're traded, or they sign the contract and they're cut by that team. So they're basically acquiring the rights for that team. Picks in the first, second, third round normally are guaranteed to get a slot on the team. There's times that you'll see a second or third round pick cut, but that's rare. Fourth through seventh round is more of a long shot. Those are the guys that are going to get on special teams. They may get on the practice squad, those kind of things. So real quickly, let me explain what the practice squad is. The first day of the NFL regular season, each team can only have 53 players, but they can carry up to 12 players on a practice squad. And these are players that are not on the roster. They change constantly. They can be on a practice squad, be signed by somebody else's practice squad, be signed off a practice squad, be cut from the practice squad. But it's basically like a B team, so to speak, in European football. So you have those things going on. The draft starts on Thursday. Now, when is the draft? Where is the draft? It starts April 27th. And the first round is going to be on that evening. It starts at, let me double check the time, 8 p.m. And each team has a total of 10 minutes in the first round to make their selection. You'll hear them use the phrase, "you're on the clock," and that's what they're talking about. They have 10 minutes to make that first draft pick. Then on Friday, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, they'll do rounds 2 through 3, and each team then has a total of 7 minutes to make their draft pick. So they'll be on the clock for 7 minutes. On Saturday, rounds 4 through 7 start at noon, and that's on April 29th. And they have 5 minutes to make those selections. They also will receive what's called compensatory picks, and those are picks that you get if you have a player that's signed by another team, and it's a clause in the collective bargaining agreement, and those occur at the end of the round. One of the things that you'll see a lot in the NFL is they will trade draft picks, and they'll put together packages that trade draft picks. So you're going to have different teams that have a lot more draft picks. For example, the two teams with the most draft picks, and they have 11, are the Cleveland Browns and the Cincinnati Bengals. You have Atlanta and Buffalo, who have 6 because of trades. So you have those things that influence how the draft operates. As far as who can be drafted, you have to have been out of school for 3 years. You don't have to play college. Your senior class has to have graduated 3 years before the draft. So, for example, if your senior class graduated from high school in 2014, you're eligible for this year's draft. The question that comes up, though, is how does that play in when you hear the term like red shirt? Well, a red shirt in American college football is a player that is carried on a college roster but does not actually play that season. They can be redshirted for medical reasons. They can be redshirted because they have development. They want to develop a little bit more, or they have a lot of depth in that position. So you may hear somebody talk about that's going to be drafted that's a redshirt sophomore. Technically, they are a sophomore in the team, but as far as the university is considered academically, they're a junior. And so they're eligible for the draft. Or you can have people that never played at all in America, and they are drafted. For example, last year there was a German wide receiver, Moritz Boehringer, and it was really kind of funny. I was watching the draft. He was there talking to him. One of the announcers, I don't remember which one it was talking about what a talented young man he was. He's 6'4", he's 23, he's from Stuttgart, and he tells the Vikings on the draft show, he says, you need to draft this guy. What happens in round 6, like 15 minutes later, the Vikings draft him. He does not make the roster, but he is put on the practice squad. So as far as I know, he is still with the Minnesota Vikings. The draft can get really confusing when you hear all these different things that come into it, but this is where the team really starts building for the next year. I know there's a lot of questions about, people have asked me about who I think is going to be drafted in certain places, what I think certain teams are going to do, and like I said, I'm going to cover that over the next week with that schedule. I'm looking forward to doing this. I love talking about the NFL. This is when it really gets hot and heavy for us. It kind of ties down until training camp starts in July. Then in August, we start with preseason. I'm planning on going to at least one preseason game this year, going to Nashville to see the Panthers and the Titans play. Not sure, they haven't released the dates on the schedule yet, or the regular season when the dates are going to be on that, so I may try to get over there and see another game. But folks, if you have any questions, ask. I'll be happy to try to answer them. If I don't know, I'll tell you, and we'll try to find the answer somewhere. Either way it goes, I hope you like what I do with this thing. I hope you enjoy hearing me talk about the NFL. If you do, hit a like down there. If you have not subscribed, go ahead and do so at this point. That way you know when I'm updating on this. The next week is going to be real busy as we're getting ready for the draft. After this is over, I'll give you my draft overview. I'll tell you the grades that I think they're getting for their drafts. I'm a teacher. I like grading stuff. So, but like I said, if you like it, hit the like down there and hit the subscribe. Give me some comments. Ask me some questions. Let's get this thing rocking and rolling as we get into the hot and heavy time of the NFL season. But either way it goes, folks, I hope you have a great day, and I'll talk at you later.